Stop throwing away your old aluminum bottles. Today, we're building a DIY pressurized jet stove out of 2 aluminum bottles. Wrapping 1,500 grit sandpaper around a red aluminum bottle and scrubbing it aggressively to remove the paint, mirror-like aluminum surface. Scoring the middle of the bottle with a utility knife, splitting it, marking a 20 mm line with a ruler, and cutting it with snips before sanding the rim flat. Trim away the excess with metal snips, and sand the edge completely flat on a sanding block. That factory paint until you have a flawless, mirror-like finish. Sand those edges flat so it sits perfectly level. Do the exact same to a second bottle, mark your layout grid. Repeat the cutting process for your second bottle. Then, use a square layout ruler and a center punch to mark 4 perfectly symmetrical cross points on the bottom face. Using a hand drill to make a tiny pilot hole in the absolute center. Then using a power drill to cleanly bore out the 4 marked anchor holes. Then, step up to a power drill to cleanly bore out the 4 outer anchor holes for our burner tubes. Creating the Wicks unrolling 5 mm copper tubing, cutting 2 equal segments with a pipe cutter. Copper tubing and cut 2 identical segments using a pipe cutter. To create the internal fuel wicks, thread thick, natural jute twine entirely through the center of both tubes. Inserting the copper tubes into a mechanical bending jig to form them into smooth U-shaped loops, making sure one loop is slightly taller to overlap the other. Lock the tubes into a bending jig to form smooth, uniform loops. Make sure one loop is shaped slightly wider and taller so they can cross directly over each other without pinching. Feeding the loose jute ends and copper tips into the 4 drilled ports from the outside, seating the crossed loops flush against the metal bottom. Mixing equal parts of AB epoxy glue on cardboard and heavily coating the inside base where the tubes protrude. Flip the cap over, mix up a generous batch of high-temperature AB epoxy, and heavily coat the tube joints from the inside. This creates a completely airtight, pressure-safe seal. Quick cut to an adorable cat watching the build. Then, trimming the excess jute wick short at the base and sliding the top cap over the bottom sleeve. Pour your liquid fuel into the bottom reservoir sleeve, and firmly press fit the top burner cap over it to seal the unit. Pouring a tiny amount of priming alcohol onto the top cap, lighting it with a match, and watching powerful blue jet flames blast out of the copper loops. Pour a little priming fuel onto the top tray and ignite it. As the copper loops absorb the heat, they will rapidly vaporize the alcohol inside, creating a roaring, highly efficient, pressurized blue jet flame. You're ready to cook anywhere.